And it is time. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Tyler. Super excited that you're taking the time out of your day on a Friday night to join me. What that tells me is, one, you're either super interested in hacking, or two, you're like me and you just don't have a life and this is all you do regardless of what night of the week it is. But hey, super happy to have you here. Do want to let you know I am live right now on 3 different platforms. You can join on whatever platform works best for you, but I am live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. On LinkedIn and YouTube, you can find me under my name, just Tyler Ramsby, and over on Twitch, I stream under the name hack_smarter. And hey, if you enjoy my content, my primary platform is YouTube. So if you have not subbed to me on YouTube, that is what you should do. That's where all my videos get posted afterwards. That's where I post shorter videos, standalone videos. YouTube is my main platform. But yo, super excited to have you hanging out here. Nefo said no Black Hoodie song anymore. I'll drop it again sometime, but you can always go to my YouTube channel and watch that. Looking over at chat. What is up, everyone? All right, another thing I always forget to say, if you enjoy my content, I don't believe in paywall, so nothing I do is hidden behind a paywall. But if you do enjoy it and you want to support what I do, you can do it in a few different ways. Over on Twitch, you can become a subscriber, which is like a monthly payment on Twitch. I honestly am still a noob at how Twitch works, but you can do that over on Twitch. Over on YouTube, you can become a channel member. I have 2 levels. One is $5 a month, one is $10 a month. And over on YouTube, you can also do a one-time gift via a super chat. So hey, if you enjoy my content and want to do that, I appreciate that. It's always encouraging to see those things come through. Looks like chat is popping up. What up, y'all? I want to say hello to, we got Christopher. Christopher said alive. Well, now I'm live, dude. I was live. My countdown was streaming live from my computer, so that counts as being live. We got Chris Sun. We got Doc G Money Gaming. We got DJ BSEC. We got Tyler Rake. We got Vincier. We have Alyssa, Victorious, I am Joe, whatever, if I'm saying that correctly. And yeah, thank you all. And over on Twitch, we got Bottleneck, Nefos, Not Lad, and I'm sure we have people on LinkedIn as well, but as usual, I can't see the chat on LinkedIn, so it is what it is. Y'all, this will be kind of a time to hang out, do some AMA. But one thing we have on our to-do list, guys, I'm super excited to share this. It's not even an official announcement yet, but it will be probably next week. I spent way too much time this week. One of my goals at the beginning of this week was to create my first Cloud Goat scenario. Now, if you've never heard of Cloud Goat is like an open source, almost AWS sandbox environment created by Rhino Security Labs where I work. What it allows you to do is allows you to spin up different vulnerable AWS environments in your own AWS account, so then you can learn AWS pen testing completely free. Now, I love supporting open source projects, even cooler than when they come from my own company that I work at, and I wanted to create a Cloud Goat scenario, but it's a lot more difficult than what I've done in the past. I've created multiple Try Hack Me machines, but with the Try Hack Me machine, the way you do that is you spin up a VM like in VirtualBox. You configure everything, you export the VM, then you upload it to Try Hack Me, and they do all the magic on their end. To do a Cloud Goat scenario, you need to use Terraform, which is infrastructure as code. And I don't know if you've ever worked with Terraform, but I'm terrible at it. Even ChatGPT is not good at Terraform from my experience. So it was a lot of just slowly putting the pieces together, running into a bunch of issues, giving up like 5 times, wanting to throw my computer at the wall. But today, I finally got my Cloud Goat scenario created. It shows off 2 new Paku modules that came out the latest Paku release, and I have the entire thing ready. Like, I have a very detailed walkthrough in Cloud Goat, at least in my branch yet. The merge hasn't even fully approved, but a very detailed walkthrough of the entire scenario. And I hope to come out with a blog post in the upcoming weeks in the Rhino blog where I give a detailed walkthrough there. And finally, I'm hoping that this will be released on the official Cloud Goat page early next week. But you can actually try this right now. So if you know how to use Cloud Goat, actually I'll show you. Before I jump on stream, I'll give you a little bit of the background on Cloud Goat and show you what this all looks like. So here is my scenario I made, but let me just jump back a little bit and show off Cloud Goat to you. So here's CloudGoat. It is a vulnerable by design AWS deployment tool. It allows you to hone your cloud cybersecurity skills by creating and completing several capture the flag style scenarios. Each scenario is composed of AWS resources arranged together to create a structured learning experience. Some are easy, some are hard, and many offer multiple paths to victory. As the attacker, it is your mission to explore the environment, identify vulnerabilities, and exploit your way to the scenario's goal. And as usual with things I do, all of this is completely free. CloudGoat is completely free. I have a Try Hack Me room that explains how to get set up with CloudGoat, but TLDR, you can do it with the free tier AWS account. You can go through basically all these scenarios without actually costing you any money, as long as you remember to destroy them when you're done with them, which is really easy. It's just CloudGoat create scenario and then CloudGoat destroy scenario when you're done, and Terraform does all the other magical stuff for you. You can see there's quite a few different scenarios, and I've gone through almost all of these on my YouTube channel. So I have a playlist where I go through and work through these live. But since I've done them, I was like, yo, I want to create my own CloudGoat scenario. And what I've tried to do, I've tried to do a few things that are different than most of the scenarios you see on here. So if we take this vulnerable Lambda scenario, for example, we always have like resources, a starting point, our goal, a summary, exploitation route, and then like a brief walkthrough. But if you go to like the cheat sheet, oh, actually this one's a lot better. I forgot that Andrew fixed this one. So shout out to Andrew. He made this one a lot more user friendly. Let me jump back to some other CloudGoat scenarios and you'll see what I'm talking about when I find one. We'll go to maybe this one, maybe this one. The way most of these cheat sheets work is they're just like a command dump, right? So like the cheat sheet for this scenario is literally just this command dump, a bunch of commands, which if you know AWS and CloudGoat, like not super confusing. You just need to look at it, get a quick cheat sheet of what you need to do. I'm guessing this one's probably the same thing. Nope. So Andrew's killing it here. So he also redid the Lambda Prevest one to make it a little more user-friendly. But traditionally, all of our cheat sheets just look like this. It's just all these commands that you need to do. But in my view, and it's not just my view, it is the purpose of CloudGoat. CloudGoat is supposed to help people new to AWS pen testing to learn how to do AWS stuff. So I wanted to make mine a lot more detailed. So here's the scenario I spent like all of last week making called SNS Secrets. I have the similar stuff on this main page here, right? High level overview walkthrough here, but I created a really detailed walkthrough right here, right? So it walks through every command that you need to run. I even explain the reasoning behind each command, the attack path that we're exploiting, why it's important to not like enable these things in your real environment, like some common mistakes organizations fall into that we see on pen test, and just a really detailed walkthrough on how you can complete my CloudGoat scenario that I created here. So what I want to do at the beginning of our stream is make the official walkthrough video. So I have this detailed walkthrough right here. I want to have an official walkthrough video that goes with this. And I also want to create a Try Hack Me room. Now it won't be a public one because like they're not going to publish a room about CloudGoat, but you can create rooms about anything you want. And I just want to include the room here. And then anyone with a Try Hack Me free account can also go through some of this on Try Hack Me, but that part is a work in progress. Let me look over at chat. Make sure I'm not missing anything. If anyone has questions about CloudGoat, happy to answer them before we dive into it. Tyler Rake said, love your Try Hack Me room. Wish to see more labs in the future. Thank you, my friend. I have 2 rooms on Try Hack Me. I have CyberLens, which is an easy room on Try Hack Me, easy Windows. That's the most recent one that came out. My other one is Hack Smarter Security. You should check that one out. Hack Smarter Security. I don't remember the official rating. It might be medium, maybe it's easy or medium, but that one requires AV evasion, evading Windows Defender once you get on the machine, also a Windows machine. I have a third machine that is completely done with QA, but there's a lot of machines kind of in the queue on the Try Hack Me side, so I don't actually have a release date for it yet, but that one's called Silver Platter, and that's based on CVEs I have personally found. So I have one more in the chamber at Try Hack Me that will be coming out hopefully in the near future. Master Crossing said, could you cover the new include room on THM? I only got the first flag stuck. Yeah, maybe we can dive into that. What up, Christopher? DJ BSEC said, oh snap, Terraform. Have you ever used Terraform, DJ BSEC? I freaking hate it. I'm just bad at it. Like Terraform in concept is simple, But when you have to get everything working, like let me just show you my Terraform for this. If we go to my Terraform folder here, like you can see all my different Terraform files I have. We have this, all these things, and it has to integrate with the rest of CloudGoat. So it has to use like the IP whitelisting in CloudGoat, the right profile. So this is just the Terraform file from my API gateway. This is just a Terraform file from my EC2 instance that I have running with some scripting on the end. This is just a Terraform file for my IAM user for initial access. This one's pretty simple. It just outputs what's at the end. Provider is also pretty simple. This is make sure I pull in the right profile from the CloudGoat config. This is a Terraform file for my SNS topic. These are the variables for Terraform. And here is a Terraform file for my VPC or virtual private cloud. So like, it's confusing, y'all. Like if you were just working on like one Terraform file, it's manageable. But when you have all these different pieces trying to work together to spin up like a working CTF or scenario, and they all have to work. Like if one doesn't work, the scenario does not work, and then you have to go back through, troubleshoot, figure out what's not working. But on top of that, you have to do it within the confines of CloudGoat. So when you do CloudGoat, there's two big important things you do when you configure CloudGoat. First, you set up your profile. Whatever profile you use for configuring the scenarios. So you have to make sure you're using that profile based on your CloudGoat variables. And you also have to have a whitelist or an allow list of IPs. CloudGoat is going to spin up vulnerable public resources, and you don't want your vulnerable public resources just out on the internet for everyone to access. So you have to use a VPC with that whitelist or allow list for the IPs, so that only your specific IP that's in that whitelist can hit those public resources, so you don't actually accidentally expose people's accounts, public resources to the internet. So it's like, it was complex. I learned a lot in the process. My next step on the CloudGoat side of things, like I really want to take this to the next level. It's awesome what it is now, but there's a lot of improvement we could add to it. One is just redoing a lot of the walkthroughs, kind of like the one I showed you, making it a little more detailed. But I also want to make a best practices CloudGoat guide, because we don't have much like that. That just tells people, hey, you want to make a CloudGoat scenario, here are the best practices to keep in mind. I also want to create a CloudGoat scenario template. So it gives you the basic Terraform building blocks that you need for your CloudGoat scenario. So you don't have to like do what I do and look at all the other scenarios, try to figure out how it's working, but give you a working template to make it a little bit easier to create and contribute your own CloudGoat scenario. So those are all things on my like developer to-do list I want to eventually do. Tyler Reich said, I've built threat scenarios for key site cyber range. I'm going to check this out and play around. Yeah, do it. Yeah, so if you guys do want to try this out, I mean, it's public, like it's out there. I even have it as a pull request here. So if you go to like the pull requests, you can see my new scenario right there waiting for review. But the other, like probably the easiest way is I have a branch here for SNS secrets. So if you just git clone, and then I think it's git clone and then git checkout SNS secrets. I was running it. So you can see my branch right there. So if you git clone the full thing, so it would be, show you the full commands. This obviously won't be in the video, because by the time this video publishes, it should be an official scenario. Let me just jump to a different directory. Whoops. I don't even know if I know my syntax here. Git clone. We'll go ahead and clone CloudGoat. And then if we do git branch, oh, maybe I should go into it. So you can see we just have the master branch here, but I think if we do git, it might actually be switch. Yeah, git switch SNS secrets. All right, now git branch. Now you're in the SNS secrets, and now you're in my branch. So now you can launch the scenario. So if you want to follow along and you have an AWS account and CloudGoat configured, I'm not going to show you how to configure CloudGoat. That's out of scope for just the beginning of the stream. But all you need to do is clone CloudGoat, and then do git switch to SNS secrets. That will switch you to my SNS secrets branch, and then you're good to go. That's all you need to do. But I'm going to go back to my other one. I'm just going to remove RF dev and get branch. Okay. Beautiful. Did I, Christopher? Let me look up. What's up, all? Yeah, I don't know how to say your name. Christopher Hannanen. Am I saying that right? Christopher Hannanen. Let me know if I'm correct there. All right, and what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to guide people through my official walkthrough that I made. Which, if I can get... So here's a scenario. So we'll start with this. And in the video, I'm just going to guide people through this full thing. It won't take us too long. You're good. Close enough. That's hilarious. I didn't even do that on purpose, dude. I must have like subconsciously looked at your name and was like, nope, I'm not saying it. DJ B-Sec's a lot easier to say than Christopher Hannanen. 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 I mean, it could be a bunch of different ways. I don't know how you'd say it. I realized I wasn't sharing my screen. Was I sharing my screen when I was showing you guys the branch stuff? I don't think I was sharing my screen. Let me just show that one more time. If you git clone Cloud Goat, once you clone it, all you need to do is git switch SNS secrets. I realize I don't think I was sharing my screen, but if you want to follow along, this is how you do it. It'll switch you to my SNS secrets branch, which will give you access to this scenario. That's just until it gets like formally published probably next week. All right. So this will be the official video walkthrough for the SNS secret scenario on Cloud Goat. Let me get a drink of water and we'll start recording for YouTube. Looks like all the streams are looking good from what I can see. All right. Here we go. Hey, what is up, everyone? My name is Tyler, and in this video, I want to give you the official video walkthrough for the new Cloud Goat scenario called SNS Secrets. Now, this is a scenario I created myself, and I have a very detailed walkthrough that goes along with this scenario. My goal for this scenario is it's rated easy, and I want it to be easy, and I want it to teach you some basic AWS enumeration, and I also wanted to teach you some basics of using Paku. Now, if you've never heard of Paku, Paku's almost like Metasploit for the cloud. It is an offensive tool created by Rhino Security Labs where I work, the same people who made Cloud Goat, that helps you do AWS pen testing in the cloud world with a tool that automates a lot of the process. So I want to show you the scenario. I want to show you Paku. I want to show you some basic AWS enumeration, and I'm going to do my best to take it slow. So the target audience of this video would be those who are relatively new to AWS, relatively new to AWS pen testing. So I'll try to explain some unfamiliar concepts because let's be real. When you're trying to learn AWS, it's super confusing because I don't know what AWS's problem is, but when they make resources, they add the craziest names to it, and you have to spend half your time just reading the documentation to know what is going on. So I'll do my best to slow down, and I'm also live streaming right now. So for those of you watching live, if there's anything I do that is not clear to you, please let me know in the comments, and I will slow down and seek to explain it a little bit further. But here we go. Scenario SNS Secrets, size small, difficulty easy. It spins up just a few resources in your AWS environment. Now, as far as setting up Cloud Goat initially, that's out of scope for this video. But if you go to the primary Cloud Goat GitHub, it explains all the details on how you can set up Cloud Goat. Our scenario start, we're going to AWS access key and a secret key. And actually, while I'm reading this, I'm going to go ahead and get this scenario started so that we don't have to wait around while it launches. So I'm going to do Python 3 cloudgoat.py, and we'll do create SNS secrets. And while that does its thing, let's go back over to here. Our starting point is we're going to receive an AWS access key and a secret key. And here is our goal. We want to get the final flag by invoking the API gateway with the leaked API key. And here's a high level summary. So in this scenario, we're going to be provided with AWS creds. We need to enumerate permissions and then realize we have permissions to list and subscribe to SNS topics. Now, the latest release of Paku, which just came out a week or two ago, added 2 new modules, this SNS and new module and this SNS subscribe module. And I wanted to create this CloudGoat scenario to show off these modules. So I'll show you that. That will then subscribe us to an SNS topic. I know that's confusing language, but I'll cover it in the detailed walkthrough. We will receive an email from the topic with an API key as a debug message, so it's leaked. We will then use the AWS CLI to enumerate the API gateway to figure out the full path. And finally, we'll do a curl request with that API key to get the final flag. Here's the exploitation route right there. Here's a high level walkthrough. Some of it I already covered, but what I wanted to do was make a very detailed walkthrough, both in written format and video format, so anyone, regardless of your experience level, can follow along with this. So we'll go ahead and click this to our detailed cheat sheet, and here is our detailed walkthrough. So after launching the scenario, we will be provided with an access key ID and a secret access key for an IAM role. These will allow us to interact with the AWS account from the IAM role using the CLI, and we can set up an IAM profile with this command. So let me jump back over to our terminal. You can see that our scenario is ready to go, and it provided us with an access key ID and a secret access key. So we're going to do AWS configure profile, and we'll just call this SNS secrets. I think that's actually what I call it in the walkthrough, isn't it? Yep, SNS secrets. And it's going to ask us for an access key ID. So let's go ahead and grab this access key ID from the scenario, and we will paste it in. And it's now going to ask us for the secret access key. So let's grab the secret access key. We'll paste that in. For our region, we can do US East 1, and then just enter for output name. Now, if we jump back to our scenario, it says we can confirm access by running the AWS equivalent of who am I, right? So in Linux, you can do who am I to figure out your user, but in AWS, like most things, I make it a little more confusing. So to run the who am I equivalent in AWS, this is how we do it. We're going to do AWS STS get caller identity, and then pass it our profile, which is SNS secrets. And then that just confirms we are able to authenticate to the AWS environment. And it also provides us for our full username, which is going to be helpful for the enumeration side of it to figure out what permissions our user has access to. Let's jump back over to our walkthrough. So discovering permissions. Now that we have access to an IAM user in the AWS environment, we need to figure out what permissions we have. You do the same thing in both Linux and Windows. If you think of a traditional CTF, you get initial access and you check, hey, what permissions, what privileges do I have? What can I access? Same thing in the cloud, same thing in AWS. This can be done using the AWS CLI. So first, we need to see what policies are connected to our user. Now, the username can be found in the output of what we just saw. If you are following along with this video tutorial, your username right here is going to be different than mine. You're going to have a unique username. So it won't be the same thing. So don't use the same username here. Use the one you got when you ran this command. But we want to go ahead and do AWS IAM list user policies, our username, and our profile. I'm just going to copy it, and I'll explain this a little bit. So we're making a command to the AWS CLI, specifically IAM. Now IAM is kind of like the users in AWS, the user names, user roles. You think of traditional user accounts. That's what IAM is. And we want to list our user policies. So when we have permissions to our user, it creates a policy, which is a JSON file that says, hey, here are the resources you have access to. Here are the things you can do inside of the AWS account. So we want to list the policies connected, of course, to our user. So I'm going to erase the username placeholder here and grab my username right here. And so we'll do that. Now that's going to provide us with a policy name. And if we go back through our walkthrough, we did list user policies. So we have the policy assigned to our account. Now we want to get the specific policy information with get user policy. So let me go ahead and grab that command. We'll paste it in here. And we have just a few placeholders we want to fill in. The first placeholder is, of course, the policy name. And we can grab that from right here. And the next placeholder is our username. And we can grab our username from right here, just like so. Okay, so now we have the actual JSON policy. So let me try to explain this a little bit and take it slow, because I know right away it looks confusing. But once you look at enough of these, it's not as confusing as it looks. We have our username, our policy name. We already know what those two things are, right? We know what our username is. We know what the policy name is. The version, this is always this. And then the action. So this is, hey, what can our user do? So we can do SNS subscribe, SNS receive. Well, we have a bunch of SNS stuff here. Now, you might be new to AWS. You're like, what the heck is SNS? We will get to that once we get to that part of the lab. But for now, just know that we can do a lot of stuff with the AWS SNS. And if you ever don't know what something is as you're doing this, Google is your friend and the AWS docs are your friend. So we can just do, what is AWS SNS, right? So Amazon Simple Notification Service is a managed service, zoom in for you guys, that provides message delivery from publishers to subscribers, also known as producers and consumers. Publishers communicate asynchronously with subscribers by sending messages to a topic, which is a logical access point and communication channel. Clients can subscribe to the SNS topic and receive published messages using a supported endpoint type, such as Amazon Data Firehouse, SQS, Lambda, HTTP, email, mobile push, a bunch of different things. So it's a notification feature. Now, a big thing with SNS is you want to limit who has access to your Amazon SNS, because if you give access to everyone, or worst case scenario, it's public, then someone with malicious intentions can subscribe to your SNS topic, and let's say there's a debug message or sensitive information being transferred across SNS, well, they're going to be able to subscribe to that topic and almost just like listen in the wire, and they'll be able to get access to that. They can even publish their own stuff. They can cause a lot of issues if SNS is not configured properly, and that's what I wanted to showcase in this scenario. So if we go back to this, we have a lot of permissions with SNS. We have some permissions with IAM. This just allows us to enumerate the access our user has. And we have a GET permission for an API gateway. So we know the API gateways might come up, but now we have some specific things we can't do. So you can notice we can do all these things. The effect is allow, and it's a wildcard. So it allows us to do it on every resource in the AWS account. We have another action right here, which is API gateway get. So similar to this, but it says here are specific things you cannot get. So the user cannot get API keys. It cannot get methods via the AWS CLI, because that would allow you to bypass the API requirement. You could just do it via the CLI and you bypass the whole thing. And actually, when I first created this scenario, my friend Dave, who was at Rhino, discovered this right away, and he figured out an unintended way to complete the scenario, but I patched it, and that is now officially patched. But that is what the policy is telling us. So the big things, once again, to keep in mind, we can do stuff with SNS, we can enumerate our permissions with IAM, and we can do some stuff with the API gateway. We can get some information about it. We know the scenario goal is to find an API key and then authenticate to the gateway, so we'll keep all of that in mind. But for now, let's jump back to the official walkthrough. So Amazon SNS, I already explained this a little bit, so we won't go over that. But one thing I do want to point out is this. It's important to limit SNS access to specific users to ensure the security and integrity of your messaging system. Unrestricted access could lead to unauthorized users sending spam, triggering unnecessary alerts, or accessing sensitive information. Now, we can enumerate SNS with Paku. Paku is an open source AWS exploitation framework designed for the offensive security testing against cloud environments. Instructions for installing are out of scope, but you can go to the official documentation here, but I'll walk you through some of the basics. Once Paku is installed, we can import our keys. So I'll just show you this full process. Over on this side of things, we will go ahead and just type in Paku. Once you get it installed, it will work like this. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new session by hitting 0. And we will call this SNS secrets like so. And we want to go ahead and import the profile we set up. So we'll do import keys. SNS secrets was the profile we set up in AWS. And, so I'm actually really glad this happened. You notice we have a database error right here. With the newest version of AWS, you have to delete the old database. So actually, if I go over to the Paku release, it will explain this. I'm pretty sure it does. Let me jump over to this. Here is Paku, and if you do want to install it, you can do it with pip, literally. You just install Paku. That's all you need to do, right? Pip install Paku, and you should be good to go. But if we go over to our release here that came out 3 days ago, at least at the recording of this video, we have this. This release requires a newly initialized database for previous versions, and you can see all of the changelog. The two things we're showing off are these SNS topic modules, but let's go ahead and remove our previous database. If you're following along and you used Paku in the past, this is the reason you're having that error. You can run this command and it will fix it. And hey, over on Twitch, Germ666, if I'm saying your name right, just subscribe. So hey, thank you, my friend, for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Let me go ahead and grab this command. We'll copy it. We'll just open a new tab and we will run it. All right. And now we'll try this again. Let me just exit, reopen Paku. And we will name our session SNS secrets. Now we can import our keys. SNS secrets, I think is what I called my profile, right? There we go. Now we can search in Paku, right? So if we want to figure out, hey, what modules do we have to do with SNS? Since we have access to that, we can just type search SNS. As simple as that. And it gives us two options. We have SNS subscribe to a simple notification service topic, and we have SNS enum, list and describe simple notification service topics. Now, if you want more information about these modules so we know how they work and what flags they need, we just use the help command. So we can type help SNS enum. And it says this module will attempt to list and gather information from simple notification service topics, and it accepts a region. We know we're working the US East 1 region. So let's try to run this, which is simple. Run SNS enum region US East 1, just like so. And you can see it found one topic. Now, to figure out what topic it found, it stored it to the Paku database. And an easy way to see that when you're within Paku is just by typing data. So we can type data. And there we have the ARN, or the unique identifier of this SNS topic, which if we can subscribe to this topic, hey, maybe they're publishing debug messages, maybe they're publishing sensitive information to this topic, and the fact that we can subscribe, maybe we can use that to get access to some sensitive information. Now, if you remember, we had that other module up here called SNS subscribe. So let's do help and see what that takes. Okay. So this module will attempt to subscribe to a topic based on the ARN, right? And we have the ARN right there via an email address. So we can specify a topic and we can specify an email. Now that means I need to authenticate to my sandbox email. Just going to stop sharing my screen just for a moment while I get logged into that. My Hack Smarter demo email. Here we go. All right. Good to go on that. I will go back to sharing my screen and we will jump over to this module. So let's go ahead and run this module. We'll do run SNS subscribe, and we need to specify our topics. We just have one topic here, so I'm going to copy the topic from up here. We'll do that, and then we need to specify our email, and my email is hacksmarter.demo@gmail.com, and we will just click enter. All right, it says subscribe successfully, check email for subscription information. Let's go over to our email, and you can see, hey, we have the subscription notification. I'm going to confirm my subscription, and we confirmed it. Now we just wait around. Now on the back end, to give you a little behind the scenes glimpse, I have this sending out the data every single minute. So once a minute. So if you don't see it right away, give it literally just a minute and you should get access. In the meantime, we can jump back over to our walkthrough right here. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. So we imported our keys, just like I said. We searched for SNS, SNS enum, SNS subscribe. We ran the SNS enum module. We ran the subscribe module, and we subscribe with our email. And you can see this is where we're at in the walkthrough. So if you are following along in the walkthrough, this is where we're at. We just did that. We just confirmed our subscription. Let's jump back over to our email, and you can see we received a notification message that has a debug API gateway key. So that's, of course, interesting to us, right? That's something that you probably don't want disclosed to anyone who can subscribe to your SNS notification. So I'm going to open up Mousepad right here just so we keep that information there. But we do have the API gateway key. Now, if we jump back to our walkthrough, we have that. Now we need to figure out the API gateway. Specifically, we need to identify the full URL to access the API gateway. Just a fancy word to saying API. It's just a URL that we need to access and then use our key to authenticate to in order to abuse what we just discovered as a misconfiguration in this AWS environment. So the first thing we're going to do is just get all the REST APIs in our account, which is AWS API gateway, get REST APIs. We're specifying the profile that we're authenticated with, which is, of course, is SNS secrets, and then our region of US East 1. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. For now, we can close out Paku, and I will type in that command. And when we do that, we have some information here. So we have the name of our API gateway. We have the description. You can see it's for demonstrating a leaked API key. And we have our ID right here. So a few things that we want to keep in mind is the name and the ID. I'll go ahead and just copy these, and we'll drop these in Mousepad as well. So there it is. With that information, we need to get the stages and the resource. That's just how we build the URL together, right? So don't let those words confuse you. We just want to figure out what is the full URL that we need to access. And we do this with two different commands. The first is get stages. The second is get resources. So pretty easy to follow and pretty easy to remember. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Your API ID is going to be different than mine, but it says we have a placeholder here for the API ID. The API ID is this right here. So we'll copy that and we will paste it in. Okay. And that provides us with the stage name, which is the first part of the URL. Once we get past the API part, the first path of the URL is the stage name. And now we need to get the resource. So we can see a very similar command right here. Instead of get stages, it's get resources. So we'll do that, and we will also pass in the API. Grab the ID right there, paste it in, and now we have our path. So now we can actually put together the full API. You see we have our stage name, and we have our resource path. That's the information that we need, and I even made it really easy down here by giving you the general API gateway. We need our API ID, the stage name, and the resource path. So let's see if we can put all of this together, right? So we have our API ID. We already know that right here. All right, and we have our stage name, which our stage name is this right here. We'll grab this, and we need our resource path, and our resource path is right here. Now let's see what happens if we just try to invoke this without any type of authentication. It should hopefully fail as long as I configured everything correctly. So we'll just do curl, and we'll try to invoke it. And you can see we get a message forbidden because we need an API key in order to invoke this. So let's jump back over to our scenario. And you can see we're going to hit it with curl, but we're going to pass it a header. Now, if you're new to curl, that's just what the dash capital H is an HTTP header. And we're setting the X API key header right here. We can go ahead and copy this, jump over to here. And of course, we want to replace it with our URL. So I'm going to grab our URL. Right there. The API key matches the API key that was leaked right there. So we're going to pass it the X API key header. We're going to hit this. Let's see if this allows us to authenticate and complete the scenario successfully. And there you go. That did allow us to successfully complete the scenario. You can see we got the message access granted, our username, our email, our password, and the final flag for the SNS secret scenario. So hey, hope you enjoyed the scenario. Hope you found it helpful. If you have any feedback, anything, any suggestions as you work through the scenario, anything that was confusing, please reach out to me. You can find me on Discord under just my name, Tyler Ramsby, in the Rhino Security Labs Discord. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me like almost anywhere. Reach out to me. Would love to hear any feedback that you have, good or bad, to help me improve the scenario. So hey, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the scenario, and I will see you in the next one. Boom. What'd you guys think? check out chat over here. Tyler Rex said, it would be okay if I email you with a work proposal in the future. I mean, it depends on the work, but I'm not really interested in work. I have a sweet job as a pen tester. I'm not looking for any other jobs. Malware Combat said, I am more used to Azure. Once you learn one cloud environment, I mean, the terminology is a little bit different, but you can easily pick up the other one. So I know AWS and Azure somewhat okay. I learned AWS first, and it was pretty easy for me to pick up Azure after that. I was going to watch your fishing video, then I saw this live. Oh, sweet. Well, make sure you watch the fishing video as well. That thing blew up, y'all. I'm waiting for YouTube to come crack down and, like, delete my video. Like, making the kind of video I made is very much a gray area on YouTube. I try to put a clear disclaimer on it, but there's a chance YouTube will take down that video. So if you haven't seen my fishing video, I encourage you to watch it sooner rather than later, because to be honest, I don't know how long YouTube is going to allow that to be up. And hey, one thing I forgot to show on the official walkthrough, but that's fine. They shouldn't know how to do it. We have to destroy our scenario now, right? Cargo.py, destroy SNS secrets, and that will destroy all the vulnerable resources you made in your AWS account. This will destroy it, bring it back to normal so it doesn't cost you any money. All through the magic of Terraform that I banged my head against the wall for a week just to make that little scenario. Victoria said, man, I am a noob. This stuff is beyond me, but I'm stoked that there are people like you helping out. Gotta go, but want to thank you again. Night all. Hey, Victorious, thank you for the kind words. I mean, we're all noobs, dude. We are all noobs. The moment you don't think you're a noob is the moment you stop growing. But you just dive into it. You dive into it. You stumble through it. I mean, you can see my whole learning process on my YouTube page. Go back to my early videos. I know, like, I have no idea what's going on in those videos. I'm just stumbling my way through stuff. I still am stumbling my way through stuff with just a hint more knowledge now, but the field's massive. It's all the fun learning stuff. Clock talk in the background. Oh, is it one of the pictures my kids made? Malware comment says Paku looks sweet. Check it out. Like, Paku is completely free, open source. There's no silly paid enterprise version. Paku and CloudGoat, both free, open source. You can contribute to it. I contributed to the last release of Paku. I'll be a contributor for the next release because while I was making this, I found some Paku modules that just didn't work very well, so I redid them, rewrote them, opened pull requests for them. There's some other Paku modules, specifically the ones that have to do with enumerating AWS permissions that I personally find confusing and they don't work very well. So this week I want to relook at those Paku modules, see if I can rewrite them or at least fix them to make them less confusing. So yeah, that's a cool thing about open source. Start contributing to open source stuff. Like, let me even look at my GitHub. I got a B- on GitHub. I'm always trying to contribute to different things on GitHub, specifically these open source projects. And I'm far from a GitHub pro, yo. I'm always Googling how to do the simple stuff. Like, I always forget how to change branches and stuff and commits. I'm always forgetting those things. Christopher said, that was dope. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it. Malware said, well done. Thank you. Chris said, I don't understand everything I was looking at, but I enjoyed the exposure. Awesome. We'll watch it next. Okay, cool. And over on Twitch, Germ666 said, nice to have some cybersec on Twitch. Yeah, thank you again, my friend, for subscribing over on Twitch. I really do appreciate it. I'll see if I can see the comments on LinkedIn. Half the time I can't see them, but let me check. All right, I don't think I have too many comments on there, so we're doing fine on that side of things. But guys, thank you for hanging out for that first part. I heard a new Try Hack Me machine released today. Someone said that in chat. We can go ahead and check that out. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. Close out some of this stuff. Ooh, it's medium. All right. Only one person has gotten... Oh, no. Multiple people have completed the task. Okay. That was just First Blood. Test about capabilities and web pen testing, probably server-side attacks. All right. Will that launch up? In the meantime, I need to configure a few things. Can I do that? Why does it still launch? Okay, cool. I need to install, I want to install real quick the newest version of Cato before I do this. Gotta stop sharing while I authenticate to my Cato account. Tyler, have you considered streaming on X? A bunch of cyber folks on there. I have not. I've never even used X. Well, I shouldn't say I never used it. But I'm very much a noob at X and Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I've maybe made 5 tweets. I've just never got into Twitter. I don't know why, but I've never been big on Twitter. I'll have to look into that. Do people actually live stream on Twitter? All right. Let me go ahead and download good old Cato. Let's do the desktop image. Oh, I apparently already downloaded it. We're on version 37, right? Why do I have so many of them? What's the difference between them? You know what? I'm too confused. I'm re-downloading it. All right, beautiful. I'll show that on stream, opening it all up. Just wanted to get it installed. I think this is my TryHackMe VPN. All right, before I start doing the stuff for YouTube, let me just make sure everything is actually working. Okay, beautiful. And one final thing is we need to get on Notion. Stop sharing my screen for just a moment. Okay. We are good to go. Yeah, it looks like you had 2 pairs of Cato. Yeah, I think we're good now on the Cato side of things. Vinny said, bunch of cyber folks, I share your stuff there. Well, thank you, my friend, for sharing this stuff. Really appreciate it. Guys, before we start something brand new, and we're going to dive into this TryHackMe machine like live. I literally haven't even looked at it. You guys have seen me. This is the extent of me pulling it up. So I'll just dive into it, share my raw methodology. But I'm going to go fill up my water, take a short 5-minute break. Let's throw up the 5-minute countdown, guys. I'll be back in 5 minutes, and we will dive into this new TryHackMe room. So stand up, jump around, do some jumping jacks. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
my fingers. Ain't no last name. She ain't loyal, ain't no marriage, ain't no last name.
And we are back. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Hacksmart Live. My name is Tyler. I am your host. And if you missed the first half, I gave a walkthrough of a new Cloud Ghost scenario I personally created. We made the official walkthrough here on stream. And now we're going to dive into the newest try-hacking machine called Include. I haven't even looked at the machine, so this will be me diving into it live. The downside is I might not get anywhere. I might not even get a flag. I might be completely stuck. I think this machine just came out today, so there's probably no walkthroughs or hints out there, but I'll just do my best. And hey, if I fail miserably, who cares? We'll still have fun in the process. I'm going to start recording for the YouTube standalone video. Don't even know if there will be a standalone video if I don't actually solve the machine, but hey, in the chance I do solve it, we should make a YouTube standalone video. So let me go ahead and do that. Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to work my way through the brand new try-hacking machine called Include. Now, if you are new to my channel, if you're new to the way I approach machines, let me just be upfront with you. I have not prepped at all. What probably makes me different than other content creators you find room walkthroughs is they will do a room in like 20 minutes, and what they don't show you is a 3 hours, 4 hours, 5, maybe 6 hours of them stumbling through things, falling into rabbit holes, making mistakes. They don't show that. Well, I do. So when you watch a box walkthrough with me, it is not me doing the machine ahead of time, having all my notes pulled up on a side monitor, and then just very quickly going through the machine. No, this is me approaching it live. My live methodology, my live mistakes, my live frustrations, and every once in a while, my live successes. So my goal in this is that you would learn a little bit from my methodology, but do want to share with those of you watching me live right now on stream. I don't know if you guys have ever live streamed or even just shared your screen. Like, I have this issue. If I'm in a meeting and I have to like share my screen and demonstrate how to do something, I like forget how to use a keyboard. I forget how the internet works, right? When you know people are watching your screen, you miss obvious things. But with live streaming, you take that and turn it up a notch, because right now we have almost 40 people watching from the different platforms. So 40 people watching my screen, which is super intimidating. So for those of you watching live, if I miss something obvious or if you have some ideas, something that I haven't tried, please let me know in the chat. This is a teamwork, right? Teamwork makes a dream work is what I tell my kids. We can work on this machine together. Without any further ado, let me share my screen. Here is the include machine. I don't even know if it is free. Only subscribers can deploy. So if you are not a subscriber, you will have to live vicariously through me or somebody try hack me. It's worth it. Pablito said, what is the Twitch channel? Here, I'll drop my Twitch channel real quick. I dropped my Twitch channel over on the YouTube chat. So it's twitch.tv/hack_smarter. So yeah, you can join on Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever platform works best for you. But here is the include machine. Like I said, I think it just released today. Yeah, created today, 104 users in the room. So this challenge is an initial test to evaluate our capabilities in web pen testing, particularly for server-side attacks. Start the VM, which we did, and it says you'll find all the necessary tools to complete the challenge on the attack box. We're going to use our own VM, but you can use the attack box if you want. Even if it's, so here's a hint, even if it's not accessible from the browser, can you still find a way to capture the flags and sneak into the secret admin panel? Bro, I got no idea if I can or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Let me grab the IP. We can ping the IP, and we're going to add it to our Etsy host. Now, if you're new to Linux, Etsy host just resolves IPs to a domain name, so we don't have to remember the IP every time. So we're going to do sudo nano Etsy host. And we will drop this in here like so, and we'll call it include.thm. All right, and we can ping it okay. Whoops. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and get our initial scan set up. I like to use Rust scan to kick things off just because it's fast. You could use nmat with T5, probably does the same speed anyways. But we will do Rust scan -a include.thm, and then what this last flag is telling it to do is it's saying whatever open ports you find, right? Whatever open ports you find, I want you to run nmap against it with the -A flag. If you know nmap, you know that that's like throw all the enumeration scripts at it. Let's see what is running on these ports. So we will go ahead and let that run, and while that does its thing, let's get our notes set up over here. So I'm going to start a new page here. We'll just call it include THM and full width, and we'll make that wide, and we'll drop our scans in here, and we'll make sub pages for each service as we enumerate it. All right, it found all the ports. Looks like we have an uncommon port on port 50,000, so that might be interesting, but we'll check all of these out. It is running our nmap script now. Looking over at chat, Bruce Jacob said, can you break down vhost for me? It's just one domain going to many subdomains, right? Sort of. So you can host multiple, like almost websites on one IP or from one server, but you can separate them with a vhost. So I could be hosting on a Windows server. Like I say, if I spin up Windows Server in VirtualBox and I want to host like an Apache web server, I could host an Apache web server at dev.hacksmarter.org and then one at admin.hacksmarter.org and separate separate vhosts for them, so I can have two different web servers running from one IP. Hopefully that's helpful. Vhosts are confusing. One way that we can do this, let me just stop sharing my screen just for a moment. Let's do this. All right, so let's see how close I was to ChatGPT. This is how I like to learn stuff. ELI5 vhosts. Virtual hosts or vhosts are a way for a web server to host multiple websites on a single physical server. Think of them like different apartments in a big building. Each apartment has its own address and its own space, but they all share the same building. So how do vhosts work? We have single server mini sites. Imagine you have a computer that can host websites. With virtual hosts, this one server can host multiple websites, each with its own domain name, like example.com and another example.com. Config, you tell the web server how to handle requests for different domains. This is done through a configuration file. In this, you specify what content to show when someone visits example or another example. And request handling, when someone types example.com, it looks for the request, blah, blah. They're useful for efficiency and organization, and there's that. Now, when you see it like in a CTF, even the real world, it's usually not this. It's usually like a subdomain. So it'd be example.com and then dev.example.com is how you normally see it. Hopefully that's helpful. The other confusing thing about vhosts is like most tools suck at finding vhosts. I've noticed the best one is ffuff, but I always forget the syntax for ffuff. So if you go to my GitHub, Tenebrae 93, and you go to my offensive security repo, it's just random tools. I have a vhost fuzzer right here that will just prompt you for the domain wordless URL FS filter. You can put anything there until you scan it. I'll even use it. I'll show you how this tool works, but this will help automate that process so that you don't forget the syntax. But this has worked for me like 100% of the time when I'm looking for vhosts, so I'd recommend this tool. Otherwise, you can just grab, it's just ffuff under the hood, so you can just grab the syntax down there if you want to do it yourself. But this is what I have found helpful, my vhost fuzzer. All right, let's jump back over to this. It looks like our scan is done, so let's go ahead and grab our scan results here. We got a lot of ports, so this stream might be a lot of enumeration, but we'll work our way through it. All right, hopefully it's not too small for you guys. I'm just separating out my services here to see what's all running. 4.3. Oh, we actually have a vhost right here. Or a host. Host information. All right, now what I like to do. First, can I make this any bigger? Just for those of you guys watching. Besides just zooming in. Maybe zooming in is the best way to do it. We'll go like right there. I want to make separate pages for each one of these services. So as I enumerate, I keep things clear. So we'll just go like this. And I'll call this one SSH 22. And down here, we'll drop on our SSH results and we'll make this full width. Okay, that's done. We'll do the same thing for SMTP here. Full width. Done. All right, we got POP3. So we have some email stuff going on with these different ports. Notion should just default to whatever my default is. If I want full width, it should just be full width every time. That's the one thing that annoys me about Notion. IMAPD. And this is kind of the boring stuff of both pen testing and CTFs. But for those of you studying for things such as the OSCP, what I'm doing right here is going to be key to you passing the exam. You need to make sure you have good notes as you enumerate things. Should drop this here. They're both IMAP, right? And then we got POP3 again, the SSL version of it on 995. And we have some web servers here. So we have a web server on port 4000, which is going to be interesting, I'm sure. Make that full width. And finally, a web server on 50,000. Definitely an uncommon port. And we will make that full width. So now we have a lot of enumeration ahead of us here. We got a lot of services running. Get a quick look at them. We can see them here. So as you enumerate each one, I keep all my enumeration in that tab so I can quickly jump from tab to tab and be like, all right, what have I found so far? I'm going to take a break, look over at chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. It said, I want to become a cloud pen tester, any such roles, and doing AppSec for 2 years now. Yeah, I do cloud pen testing, but I also do a bunch of other stuff. There are definitely some specific cloud pen testing roles, and AppSec is a good way in. I didn't seek out to be a cloud pen tester, just kind of stumbled in my lap. So I work at Rhino Security Labs. We're kind of known for AWS, Paku, Cloud Goat type stuff. And I started as a junior pen tester doing just web apps. After about a year, I got promoted to a mid-level pen tester, and now I do like everything. So I do web apps, APIs, I do internals and externals, I do mobile apps with iOS and Android, I do cloud, AWS and Azure, I do social engineering. I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but for me, it was just a natural progression into cloud. I didn't pursue it. If you want to just be a cloud pen tester, my experience is just limited on that since I didn't apply to be one. But I guess the best advice is up your cloud skills, right? One way to up those is contribute to open source tools like CloudGoat or Paku. I've contributed to both. If you contribute to CloudGoat or Paku in particular, because Paku is super well known in the industry, there's a lot of ways you can contribute to Paku. I use Paku, and I'm always finding issues or bugs that I then go and fix on Paku. If you just contribute to Paku, you get your pull request approved, and you contribute to like an official Paku release, and you add that to your resume is going to stand above like everyone else applying for that job. And I think that would help you break into the cloud pen testing space by contributing to open source software in that way. Dante said, I always feel so unorganized watching you and other pen testers run through labs. I need to start organizing myself better during recon. Yeah, like the temptation when we do CTFs, y'all, is to rush through it. And that's where like I've done some King of the Hill streaming before, and we did it recently where we did like a King of the Hill game while live on stream. King of the Hill's fun, it's intense, but it's those fast CTFs that do not teach you good methodology because you're just rushing through it, right? So when you do a CTF, you really need to slow down. Remember, it's not a race. It might take you a few days to complete the CTF, and that's totally fine. You only lose if you don't learn. If you look at a walkthrough, that's not losing, right? You only lose if you don't learn. And the best way to learn is to force yourself to slow down, dig into each service that's running, figure out how to enumerate it. Because, hey, like on this machine, maybe SMTP is not the way in. Maybe this is a complete rabbit hole, but by us doing good enumeration on it, we're at least learning how to enumerate SMTP. So just slow yourself down. There is no need to rush. But okay, looking over at the ports that we have running, let's just start here with SSH. This is likely not going to be the way in. You'll see SSH on most CTFs and most machines. It's not going to be your initial entry point 99.9% of the time. Instead, if you find credentials, then you want to go over to SSH and see if you can authenticate via SSH to get a stable shell for that initial access to the machine. But for like right now, there's not much for enumerating. You can technically try to like figure out usernames. You could even try to brute force SSH, but it's going to take you forever and it's not going to be fruitful. So for now, we're just going to put that SSH to the side. We have SMTP, which is our mail server, and we see that we have mail.filepath.lab, so we're given a domain here. Let's go ahead and copy this and add it to our Etsy host real quick before we even continue our enumeration. So we'll go include, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to do filepath.lab because I'm guessing that's a resource. And so let's just begin with some SMTP enumeration. And the way we begin with that is by going like this: SMTP enumeration hack tricks. All right. A few of these things will be helpful. A few won't be. Banner grabbing basic connections, that's probably not going to be helpful to us. But hey, I guess for the purpose of this, we can demonstrate this to show you how it all works. So we're going to do that. Mail.filepath.lab. Is that what it was? Okay, so we just need the IP. So that's where we have that initial banner grabbing. We see the name of it, mail.filepath.lab. That's all that's doing for us, but we do that initial banner grabbing. Some more SMTP enumeration. Our InMap script already did a lot of this stuff. You can even see it if we look at our notes. We see some of the commands that we can run. We can verify. We can like do username enumeration and stuff with it from what I can see. And it's probably what it's going to talk about. This isn't going to be helpful for us. We don't really need an internal server name for a CTF. We're not going to be sniffing packets, I'm pretty sure. You can do username brute force enumeration. Authentication is not always needed, and that is if we can use the verify command, which we can. You can see the syntax here. I can even just try this. It's not going to be very helpful for us, but we can do it. Telnet 10.10.200.208.25. All right. So escape character is that. Hello. Blah, blah. We can verify user, so verify root. So do you see the difference there? That tells us a root user does exist in the system, but its Hither user does not. So you could get a list of users and do this for username enumeration. Not probably going to be super helpful at our current spot because we don't know what kind of users to spray at this, but that's just showing. I even said this when I looked at the commands. I said, oh, we have verify. We can probably do username enumeration. And that's what it looks like. You get different messages if the user exists and if the user does not exist. So that's one way we can enumerate SMTP. Same with Xpin automatic tools. We can do some enumeration. Say email, right? If we do get access to a user's email, we could send emails maybe for phishing along those lines. But that's about it for SMTP, especially on a CTF. None of the rest of this is going to be super helpful for us. So we did some basic enumeration here. We can drop the information that we did here. How do I get out of here? I don't know how to exit Telnet. I'm a noob. But let me go up and copy this. We did some basic enumeration here. Why is this not doing bash? Come on. And we'll just do our other command here. The telnet command just showing username enumeration is possible. If we were doing an actual pen test, these would be findings, at least low-level findings. Right. Oh, that's going to mess up the syntax. All right, we'll just go banner grabbing. Username enumeration. Right, a few very minor findings from what we see here. All right, let's jump over to POP3. Apparently going to kill this terminal. All right, same thing. Hack tricks. POP3. All right, retrieves email from a remote email server. Banner grabbing, which you've already done. I believe we already have those results here. Yeah, nothing too interesting on the banner grabbing side of things. We see some capabilities we have here. Those might be helpful. POP3 brute force. We have some POP syntax. All logging in, though. I think this is only going to be helpful for us once we get a user. I guess we don't have auth anonymous user. Maybe I should probably check that though. Yeah, we don't have that set. Yep. Okay, so we can kind of skip that service for now. We'll come back. Banner grabbing NTLM auth. The server supports NTLM. You can obtain sensitive info, i.e. versions. Well, let's go ahead and give that a shot. So, okay. And we'll do telnet. Can I just do this? Well, can I do include? Okay, character, login referrals, ID enabled. So we can log in. We can list. Can I just list without authentication at all? Want to do. Okay. Don't think any of this is going to be helpful to us until, once again, we get a user and a password. This is all authenticated enumeration that we need to really do much of anything. All right, now we're to what's probably going to be a little more interesting, which are going to be these web servers. So we have a web server on 4,000 and a web server on 50,000. Before I even start enumerating, I'd like to make a to-do list so we don't forget to check things if we fall into a rabbit hole. So I want to use dir scanner, I think is what it's called, for directories. I want to use my vhost fuzzer for vhosts. We can run nicto for a basic web scan. We want to check the web page, obviously, obvious stuff. Check robots.txt, check source code. So those are some of the things I want to check. Let's go ahead and get some of our scans started. We'll do dir scanner. I think it's called dir scanner, right? Oh, is it called dir scan? Oh, dir search. HTTP. Is it, let me just go to it for a second. Is it mail? The frick was it called? Mail.filepath.lab. That might just be the mail server, but. Okay, either way, it's the same. All right, we'll just use include then. dir search u thm. Maybe if I include the port, that would be a good starting point. Good job, Tyler. All right, we'll let that do its thing. Let's get our vhost fuzzer. All right, there's our tool. Beautiful. So we'll just do home Tyler tools. Versus it. Oops. If I could type. All right, so this is the vhost fuzzer. You can get this out of my GitHub. It's because I always forget the freaking syntax for fuff. So we will do our domain of we could just do file lab as our domain. That's it, right? I don't know why I always forget this. File path. Filepath.lab. Our word list, we can use user, share, word list, dirbuster, directory, list 2.3 medium. Our URL is going to be HTTP file 1000. Okay, now we need to add the FS filter, which is just filtering by size. So we can filter by 1295. All right. vhost fuzzing, and finally we can hit it with nicto, which is a basic web scanner. Nicto-h file lab-thm 4000. is it called? Guys, I'm never going to get that right. File path dot lab. Good job, Tyler. I did this one right? Okay. All right, let's check some things out now. We have this running. We have dir scanner running, which it already found some things. Let's run this again, but give it a different word list, which I think it's W user share word list dir buster directory list 2.3 medium. Nothing in there looks super interesting to me, but hey, maybe we'll have something interesting. Finally, let's open up Cato. Cato is a web application proxy, sort of like Burp Suite. I'm going to hit start on my local instance here. And we will go ahead and create a project, and we'll call it include THM. We'll create that. Let me pop this out. We'll go to intercept, open up our built-in browser, and get a drink of water. All right, we got Cato pulled up. We'll throw Cato over to the side there. We have intercept right here ready. And now we will go to freaking stupid file lab path, whatever this crap is called. Filepath.lab, filepath.lab, filepath.lab. Okay, so all we have is this. Nothing too interesting. We can check for some basic SQL injection. All I'm doing is one single comma, incorrect name or password. We can try test, try and intercept, try to log in, and then we can just yellow this beast with SQL map. We'll do nano post.text, save that, SQL map -r, give it our post.text. Why would it get unauthorized? Oh. We'll hit it real quick with SQL map, just YOLO our way out. I don't think it's vulnerable to SQL injection, but usually you can check just with a single quote to see if you get a 500 error. If we would have done a single quote and we got a 500 or server error, then there's a good chance it's vulnerable to SQL injection. It's a good, easy way to test. And then if it is, that's when I'll throw SQL map at it and YOLO my way through it. But I don't think this is going to be vulnerable. In the meantime, let's just grab a screenshot of this, which I don't think I opened Flameshot yet. All right, so we just have a login form. So the other thing that annoys me about Notion, please just go to the left. And we can make this a lot smaller too. And we'll say yep, I figured it wasn't. We can try admin. Right, just some basic stuff, but that doesn't seem to be working. I want to see what it does when I throw it over to our repeater here. Correct name or password of a connect SID, which is interesting. But I don't think that's going to be helpful to us. Yeah, no matter what, we're getting same message. What is the screenshot tool I'm using? The screenshot tool I'm using is FlameShot. Also, any guide on how to do proper documentation. Well, there's this cool guy on YouTube. If YouTube's going to load. Called Tyler Ramsby, who made a video on a hacker's guide for taking notes. I have a short video here that guides you through how to take good notes, how to take good documentation. So not to just do self-promotion, but I think you'll find that helpful. Check it out. He's a cool dude. I've heard good things about him. Sometimes he's a jerk, but overall I think he's a nice guy. Not vulnerable to SQL injection. Try guest. Oh. Dude. You see what I mean? When you're sharing your screen, you miss obvious stuff. I just spent this entire time trying to do SQL injection and log in. And it literally says, sign in using guest. This is what I'm saying, guys. When you're sharing your screen, when you're live streaming, you miss obvious things. So thank you, who's the MVP over there, who noticed the very obvious thing, master crossing. Try guess. Yeah, and here's like legit. You'll run into something like this on the OSCP. For those of you taking the OSCP, you will run into something like this and you will miss it. Just like we just did. Like I see people in chat saying, I didn't see that either. You will miss the obvious things. You have to keep that principle in mind, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Look at the obvious things. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay. So we have our guest here. Let's go ahead and grab a screenshot of this for good documentation. Jump this over to that. Okay. So far, so good. Also want to check out some of our scans. Nikto is nothing. vhost is nothing. dir search is not much. Oh, I realized I didn't sign in here, though. Let's turn off intercept. And let's sign in. Actually, change your password. One thing, this isn't going to be helpful for us here, but when I'm doing a web app pen test, I always check everything when I'm signing in. I just want to see what request it's sending. So you have a sign-in request. I'll send that over to my replay. I'll forward. We have another one here. I'll forward. Another one here. I'll forward. So these are just profiles. That's the password leak thing. All right. So now if we go over to replay here, we can check out a few of these requests. One is when we authenticate. What does this do? Just redirects us to index, powered by Express.js, which makes me think maybe template injection. Index, nothing, not modified. Images is just going to be an image, I'd assume. Same with that. Every once in a while, you'll see stuff like I found early disclosures in web app pen tests just by doing this. Because it's returning something sensitive, or it returns some like admin information when it shouldn't be in the real world. But we have this review app, 2024 review app. Is this real software, or is it something they made for Try Hack Me? Who spells Mary like that? Okay, I don't think it's like a official review app or anything that we can find some CVEs on. Okay, let's just see what functionality we have. We have this profile. If I click view oh, we see a friend one. That's interesting. Just throw that over to repeater. helpful, nothing helpful. I'm just looking down here to see what processes are coming through. So we have our friend detail here. ID 1, name guest, age 25, country UK, is admin false, profile images, and it sends a direct path. Okay, I see a lot of things we want to dig into. First, can I just do like, how many friends do I have here? Do I get a valid response for? All right, so there's Mary. Is there a 4? Or is there some like iDoor here where I can access some admin user? Okay, no, there's no other friends. And we can recommend activities. Let's see what that does. And it adds it to the thing. Some basic template injection. Okay, that doesn't work either. What is firepath.lab? I think you mean file path, or did I call it firepath? It should be file path. It's just like the mail server. Yeah, try Hack Me Box, dude. It's the Try Hack Me Box that just came out today. I don't think it's going to be vulnerable to this, though. I tried some basic payloads. We can try this one just for good measure. No. Is this going to a database somewhere? Like, so really nothing too interesting, but I do see like has profile images. Can I change this profile image? No, it encodes it. I don't know if that does anything to our friend here. So we have our other friends. We can add friends. Add friend. View profile. That's weird. What could that be? SQL injection activity parameter? I don't think so. Can I look at my own profile? Oh, this is my profile. Oh, that's what I was testing. I didn't realize I was modifying my own profile. Can I do anything besides recommend activity to guest? I am guest. Can I change is admin on Kado? I mean, we kind of did is admin true here, but does that do anything? Jeez, I don't know. This hasn't found signup. Signup's not accessible. Oh, that's interesting. So we have a stack trace here. Is this stack trace reveal any interesting? We know it's using Ubuntu, right? But outside of that, and we also have full file paths. You know, like, if you look at the images, here, I'm gonna. Look at the profile image. It uses a full path. What if I did something like... Whoops. 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 Oh. So it does try to load it then. You guys see that? How I did that? It's trying to do a GET request for it. So that's interesting. But of course it's going to fail. But what... Wonder how we can make ourselves admin that way. So we know it's reading this. If we can update is admin and make it true. We can also do the profile image thing here. It doesn't load though. Do we have SSRF here? So if I do... No, it's going to put in quotes automatically, so that wouldn't work. I tried that master crossing. Watch. It doesn't work because of the way the quotes work. Oh, shoot. Did it work that time? No, it doesn't. Well, let's try it to my own profile. Oh, shoot. Did it work? It did. Is admin true? We now have access to the API. Okay, let's just record that. I don't know how I think what I was doing wrong is I was doing that. I bet that's what I was doing. All right, let's see what interesting stuff we have access to now. We have API. Below is a list of important APIs accessible to admins with sample requests and responses. We have a GET request to the local host. And we have the GET admins API. I have some ideas in my head for that. Dante said, I swear you tried that earlier. I know, I thought I tried that earlier too, but I must have done something wrong. Okay. Before I get too excited and fall into rabbit holes, though, what else do we have access to? We have access to settings. Ooh. SSRF. We can probably stop that. Put in my IP. 46. Yep, we have SSRF, which means we can get the server to make requests on our behalf. That'll probably come up handy in a little bit. Let's just go drop that there and then grab an image of what I did. Freaking Notion, bruh. Go over here, dog. Can I not drag it? Do I really have to do this manually? That's annoying. Okay. With that information and the API information, below is a list of important API accessible to admins as a sample requests and responses. Huh, see? That allowed me to get this. Now we can decode this. All right, so I can access the APIs by running them through here. And our other APIs get the admins API, get all admins on this right here. And same thing, we'll copy our base64 right there. Okay. This is some helpful information right here. We have a sysmon username, sysmon password. Getting somewhere, but not. Let's make sure we're taking good notes, right? You can use the SSRF from above to hit base64 decode the response. Right, so that provides us with the following information. Review app username, admin. Review app password. So we can log into this as admin now. And we have a sysmon app username. Administrator. sysmon app password of whatever the frick this crazy password is. Okay, cool. So we can make those requests there. I'm also curious. Oh no, the other way wouldn't have worked. All right, now just to test this out, this is the review app, of course. Admin. Capital A for admin. Okay, well. All right, well, apparently, all of that is the admin password for the review app. It doesn't work. That's fine. We have the sysmon app username and the sysmon app password. Cool. That's probably going to... What's on port 550,000? This is a sysmon portal. So... this is going to come in handy on our sysmon portal. And then we're going to get the first flag, it looks like. All right, well, let's go ahead and get that first flag. All right, beautiful. We have our first flag, ladies and gentlemen. All right, flag 1. Nope, wrong page. All right, cool. Flag number 1 is down. That deserves a drink of water. What type of injection was it when you injected is admin true? I don't know. Bad coding. I don't know if there's a name for that injection. There probably is, but it's not template injection. It's not SQL injection. It's just like they shouldn't have been allowed a user to do that. And we abused SSRF to get that. I noticed that SSRF right away. And even found that weird file issue as well that was doing full files, but that didn't seem too interesting. But we found the SSRF, found it right away, and figured out, oh, okay. I mean, I tested it there first. The server hit me. Then I get the internal APIs, and I got those usernames and password. And now I wonder if any of this email stuff will come into place, if we have any password reuse for any user. Let's not get ahead of ourselves for now, though. What does this have for us? It doesn't have much of anything. It's just, from what I can see, a static dashboard. That's interesting. Almost seems like you'd be able to maybe not. Does this do anything? Nope. Okay. Change it to CMD. I mean, maybe, but that wouldn't be realistic that our PHP thing could execute commands. We can go back to our admin portal and keep abusing our SSRF though and see what we can find. Let me go back. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to keep this open. With that SSRF, can I read these files now? That's my question. API. Can I like, if I do this? We could do some port knocking type stuff. I'm just trying to think in my head of all the ways I can abuse that. I'm gonna try. Let me think for a moment. Oh shoot. Okay, so I just need the request. SSRF map just can automate some of the SSRF stuff. Before I move on from here, I just want to see if there's anything else interesting I can do. What was that? What's the parameter called? URL, okay. So you can do, oh, port knocking. See, I found some internal ports that are open. So internally, we have port 4000 open, and we have port 50,000 open internally. That's probably not going to be helpful for us since we can actually hit those ports from the outside. What we're looking for though is any ports that might be open internally that aren't open on the outside. Since we have SSRF and we can make HTTP requests, maybe we could hit a port on the inside that isn't open on the outside. SSRF map, didn't even know it existed. This will be helpful. Yeah. Yeah, SSRF map is pretty cool. I haven't used it a whole lot, but here it is. Different modules you can use. Different examples. We're using the port scan module right now. But I don't think this will be the way in. I'm going to stop it actually. Okay. What modules do we have? So we can try to read files. Our files, Etsy password. Okay, so that didn't work. There's probably not going to be much more that we can do. Like, I don't see any databases open. But hey, at least I showed you guys a new tool. I used this on one of the recent Try Hack Me machines where you had to do like port knocking with SSRF or something. And I found like port 1337 if I remember right. And this is how I did it. We're not going to be able to do reverse shells or anything like that right now without being able to interact with the database. Port scan I don't think is going to be helpful. Yeah, if we can't read files, I don't think that's going to be helpful. We might have exhausted our limit with this stuff here. Okay, so we have this. Taya said, hello, will this be saved live? It will be, but only in my YouTube channel. So some shameless self-promotion. My main platform is YouTube. So if you want to catch all my content after the fact and as well as shorter videos I put out, this is my main platform, YouTube. You can see I have like almost 400 videos, pretty in-depth stuff. But this is where you can catch all my content. None of my content saved on Twitch or anything, just YouTube. So YouTube at Tyler Ramsby. I don't think the rest of that's going to be helpful for us. So if we go back to our notes, what we have at this point, we have like, it's not a real sysmon, but I didn't look at anything else, I guess, on here. We should do our typical scans on here. So let me go back to this. Dir search you 50,000. We'll just do a typical one here. Maybe there's something on there. Same with the vhost fuzzing. Okay, so we need 1611 based on the size. So here's some 403s, things that we can't access. Also, guys, don't underestimate auth.php. Don't underestimate dir scan and stuff for actual dir search for actual pen test. Just recently, using just dir search, I found a critical disclosure on a web app where I found a file that the client didn't know was publicly accessible, and I was able to use it to like pivot into some private files. Like, I don't want to give too much, I don't want to give anything away, but some very sensitive private files internally without authentication. And I found it just using dir search. So if you're a pen tester, when you become a tester, don't forget these basic things that we're doing here. When you learn how to do like directory brute forcing, this actually does help in the real world, and you'll stumble across some cool stuff. But it was a major vulnerability. And like I said, early disclosure, full unauthenticated, I could pivot internally just by using dir search. All right, we have some interesting stuff being pulled up right here. Auth.php is not going to be helpful, but we have the templates. Templates definitely looks interesting to me. So we have directory listing here. If we were doing a pen test right now, this would actually be a an informational finding unless we found something sensitive, but you don't want directory listing enabled, including version enumeration being revealed. So this would be a finding on a pen test, at least an informational finding you want to report to the client. Dante said, rate limit is always my biggest worry for content discovery. When I do a real pen test, I limit it to 5 threads. So you can do that with like that. And then if I'm only using 5 threads, I've never ran into issues like breaking stuff. But on a CTF, I just yellow it, because if I break the CTF, I'll just, restart it. So we have templates, which has directory stuff, but, nothing helpful for us. We can't do much with these files. All right. We also have uploads. Which has this profile picture. Okay, I guess that's not super helpful to us either. And this, of course, we already have the creds for this. That we got via SSRF. Log back in. This is that profile picture. So then this is doing image and it's pulling it from that upload directory. I just don't see a way to upload files, because if we could upload our own files, we're able to access the file and we might be able to get a shell that way. In my head anyways. All right. Oh, we got Toddy in chat. What's up, dude? Has to get your IP allow list. It can't have a scan running for 5 days when it can run for 5 minutes. Yeah, as a general rule, though, at least where I work, we limit all of our threads to 5. Whether it's Burp Suite, scanning, we've had people use like Furox Buster without any threading and have taken down web servers on accident. So it's always better to be safer than sorry. So it's less about having your IP allow listed and more about, I mean, it also depends what you're testing, right? So in the beginning of a pen test, usually clarify with the client whether or not this is dev or production, right? We generally want to test in dev in case we break something. But if it's production, then you really do want to be careful. Make sure you're only at like 5 threads on any Burp Suite active scans, a DIR scan, Furox Buster, whatever you do. Rust scan, you name it. Could you use the SSRF to grab a file from your own machine with a GET request? Yeah, but I don't think it would, we couldn't access it then. It wouldn't process it server side, I don't think, in at least the way this current setup is, but that's always something worth trying. We'll give it a shot. One thing I want to do real quick, though, is just use a bigger word list here. So we'll do user, share, word list, dirbuster, directory list, directory. We'll give that one a shot. Did our vhost find anything? It did not. Nicto we're not even really using right now. I mean, this is the most interesting thing, that it's passing this image parameter, which makes you think SSRF. And it's pulling it from upload. So if we could figure out how to upload a file, that'd be cool. I don't think there's any silly CVEs for this. 2.49, there's path traversal, but that only affects 2.49. Yeah, no. I don't. It's not going to be that. This path traversal is just for 4.49, if my memory serves me correct. Be cool. It'd be cool to have a CTF that demonstrates this, but it's literally just for that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything obvious as we look at some of this stuff. We have a host of mail.filepath.lab for 50,000. Did I try that? Same thing. If I do like this is probably the part of the machine that's rated medium. That first part was pretty easy. Oh, maybe I should look at the flags. Do I not even need RCE? It just says, what is the content of the hidden text file in var dub HTML? I didn't realize that was the flag. I'm here trying to get RCE. Can we just use SSRF? What is the content of the hidden text file? var www HTML. Okay, I think I'm wasting my time on this app, or on this one here. I think we need to go back to this app. Go back to our settings here. We have confirmed SSRF here. Oh, wait, I don't want it here. Let's see what little thing I might be missing here. So this is an image URL. GoPro Soul said, can I share 50% off coupon for Taggart's Home Lab Almanac with the class sale ends? Yeah, please do. Oreo Byte said the boxes include isn't some type of LFI. We're thinking on similar terms mixed with another tech. Yeah, I'm thinking it's SSRF and LFI. Because we have, that's how I got the first flag. We have confirmed SSRF here, which allows us to log into the Sysmon portal. And that's where we found that flag. I guess I could try null byte. That's actually an interesting concept. So if we do profile, that works. What if I do? That doesn't work. If I do that, that still works. So it doesn't seem like it's taking my stuff at all there. Try this. I just want to see if it's trying to escape at all, that directory. So maybe it is there. Okay. Do I have any workflows in this instance of Cato? Can I, why is it, get out of here. There we go, convert, replace. That gives me nothing. I'm close. I think I just need to review what I have so far. Let me jump back at my notes. We have this. I think this is a rabbit hole. I think once you get initial access to the sysmon thing, that's all it is for the flag. I think this is key. We have SSRF. We can hit those internal APIs, but it doesn't take your typical, like, it has to be a URL. It doesn't take things like file. Oh man, it's getting late too. This might end up being a two-part box just for this last little piece. I feel like I'm so close though. Why can't you just give me a file here? It's already URL encoding it. Okay, and that just redirects me. Right, and then it's gonna give me the full like code there. Okay. Now I might be able to read some PHP files. What's that port that's running on this API? Okay, so that doesn't work. But the other ones will work. That was in, so could I get admin settings if I wanted to? I mean, I know I already have access to it, but how about this? No, that doesn't work. What am I using for notes? I'm using Notion for notes right now. How can I abuse this? There has to be a way. I just can't think of it. Think, Tyler. All right. Let's see if anyone... Well, no hints are allowed, so there's not going to be any hints on GitHub. Yeah, nothing on GitHub. I need to think. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to shout them out, because like, I feel like I'm so close. I'm so close yet so far away. We have SSRF here. I need to try to turn it into LFI, I think. But I don't have access to like Etsy password or anything. I don't think. All that stuff's going to fail because it wants a URL. It's only accepting a URL from what I can see. How about like... How about RFI? I was already on this page. That's the page I was on. Okay, bet. What if I try something like this? Since I can hit my server, right? Oh shoot, that's the right IP. Beautiful. Just giving me my shell back. It's not trying to actually execute it. I'll just prove that to you guys. If we copy this, we decode it. I'm gonna break my... See? That's a shell I sent it. So it's receiving it, but it's not executing it. If in PHP this is disabled by default. If for some reason it's on, but PHP filtering access is filtering access to external web pages, which it's not, so it's just not on. Zip. See, I don't think any of this stuff will work. That's also restricted by that. See, I don't think any of this is enabled. Yeah. You tried command, but what about file name? What do you mean, my friend? What do you mean by file name? I tried Etsy password and stuff, yeah. See, our SSRF scanner would have tried most of this stuff right here. Oh, I see what you're saying. If I just do this. YOLO. This is why, like, there's some fun in doing machines when they first release, but I generally like to wait to do machines till there is a walkthrough, because when you get fully stuck, like, at this point, I'm not really learning anything. I know it's going to be something like this. I just don't know exactly how to exploit it. So if there was a walkthrough, I'd look at it. Just because, once again, looking at a walkthrough doesn't mean you lose. You only lose if you don't learn something. There's some weird thing here. If you can upload a file, just inject the shell payload into it. I can't upload a file. Wow. I don't think there's anything. Include. No one's going to post a walkthrough yet. Freaking, I come up. I assure you I didn't post a walkthrough. What was the point of all those email servers? Do these have, like, why are these enabled? I can't imagine the creator of the box just like, hey, let's enable email servers. Do these come into play? Is there CRUD reuse somehow? Let me try some of this. Any of the users hello. Who are the other users included on there? We got David and Mary. Okay. Can I provide you my notes? You can find some of my notes on GitHub. I'll find that in a little bit. I don't know how to close that. All right, guys, here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. This is my Hail Mary. Come on. Come on. All right. Bet. I don't know, guys. I might have to call it a night. I might have to wait for a walkthrough on this one. The super secret password was just a placeholder. Because they even show that in the API call, right? If you go to API. Or was it called super? Was it a different one? Here, let me just double check this. I was thinking this. I saw this, but I was thinking it was just like a placeholder. Yeah, that's the same thing we see in the docs. That's just a placeholder. The real information we need for that one is the one I got from the API. We can't do file read. We have SSRF. We can't do file read. I try to use SSRF map, which would automate a lot of your typical stuff. I don't know, guys. Sunder, I'll answer your question in a second. I want to complete this machine. Sudo. I don't have access. I can't sudo. Try LFI bypasses. Where? Where do you want me to try them at? What's this auth.php? Can I read that? This is on 5,000. Oh, it doesn't exist. There's nothing there. He's texting me. Oh. Did I try log poisoning? We have to be able to hit the logs for log poisoning to work. You know, like read the logs. I don't have file read. That's why log poisoning wouldn't work. At least I don't have file read yet. Obviously, I need to eventually get file reading. Was there any other interesting files that we may have seen? How about API.php? Will that give me anything? Check login. I don't think that's going to be helpful though. Let's read it, I guess. I mean, we already had access to that. What am I doing? It's just giving me the index. I don't think there's a PHP my admin. Frick. What am I missing? Guys, I'm out of ideas. Oh, shoot. var dub HTML. I don't know the content of the hidden text file. At this point, I no longer care about the content of the hidden text file. I'm getting too tired. Sure, something freaking simple that I overlooked too, as usual. Include. So with the name include, what could it all be? Local file inclusion, remote file inclusion. Those are the only two, right? This part was only made, from what I can tell, for the isAdmin exploit. So if we dig into this rabbit hole. So I feel like we're down to this right here. Let's just call it like monitor. Why does this not just bring me to the monitor page? Watch, the walkthrough's gonna come out. It's gonna be something so simple, and I just fully overlooked it, and I'm gonna be so mad. There's this that caught my eye. This image source. We're just grabbing profile.png, which is in uploads, but I guess we could read this file and see what it does. Well, no, that won't. This is just giving me the index again, isn't it? The same file. Yeah, it's just the same file. That's not going to actually help me. I wanted to see if I could do a code review on it, but it's not giving me the actual PHP. No hits. It's not reaching out. Should there an LFI map? Is there such a thing as LFI map? Sure enough, I've never used this before. How do I use it? YOLO it. We'll just figure it out. Who would have thought there was such a thing? Okay. How do you take this? A single URL to test? Yeah. I'll fix it so it's back to the normal URL. Oh, I need to fix that. Oh, I guess it was testing it, no problem. LFI map. Who would have thought there was such a thing? Dang, it tests like everything. Now that I'm running my scan, what options do we have? So we just pass it a single URL. Oh, we don't need to worry about CSRF stuff. Attack techniques. Oh, do I need to specify an attack technique? All. We could also try CP request CD file map. What was the file one? R. Can it not work on a post? Wow, guys. You need the pwn at the end? Oh, do I have to mark the spot? Where's it say that at? Stupid freaking try hack me box. Oh. Okay. I see. Maybe I should, RTFM. So we can give it our URL. Oh, but I want a different one. I don't even know where this request is to. Wait, what? The frick request is that? That's for the creative machine. Why was that here? Oh, because I copied the whole file. What the frick are you doing with your life, Tyler? You suck, dude. As I'm getting tired, my mind's not working. How about this one? Is that the right one? That's the one I was trying to do. So it would be this. File path. Sign. No, not sign in. Oh my goodness. My brain, y'all. I'm getting tired. So it'd be admin settings and it was URL. What did that look like? Okay. So I would do this. Capital R. Guys, I think I'm calling it a night. I don't know what else to do here. I'm fully stuck. That's why I don't like doing machines that are brand new. Without a walkthrough, when you get stuck, you're literally just wasting your time at that point. Anyone else have any ideas in chat? If anyone has ideas, tell me. Tell me what you would do in this situation. What have I missed in my testing? Unless it's something to do with these stupid email servers, these random email servers. I don't know what the frick these are used for or how to abuse it. Well, I know what they're used for. I don't know how to abuse them in this scenario. With include, you think it has to be remote file inclusion or local file inclusion. And there's only 2 spots. What do you got, Oreo Bite? Oh, shoot. That closed. That closed chat out when I clicked your link. But wouldn't have to be configured to include to execute PHP? You have to have require include enabled on PHP. So in my mind, this doesn't work, but what do we have to lose? So how do I use this tool? fine. I don't want to replace it with the web shell because I want to see if this works. So how do I even... Do I use this whole freaking string? This isn't going to work because PHP include isn't enabled on the web server. Unless I'm crazy. I just want a simple POC. Like it should give me PHP info if it would work before I even try shell. But I'm like 99% certain this won't work. I'm telling you, the PHP include stuff isn't on, so it's not going to work. It doesn't accept it. I just don't know, guys. Alright, it's midnight. I've been on for 3 hours. I'll come back to this one. There's a walkthrough. I'm not going to come back to it on stream, probably. This video probably won't even get posted on YouTube as a standalone video. I'm curious what I'm missing, and I think as a general rule now, I'm not doing machines when they first release. Because I hope it's not some stupid CTF like puzzle thing that I'm missing. But I guarantee you it's something with those two parameters I found, but I have no idea what I'm missing on abusing it. We used all the tools like SSRF map, LFI map. That would have found it if it was either one of those. Is there an RFI map? I don't care anymore. I'm not going to find RFI map. I guess I'll wait for walkthroughs when they come out in a couple of days, and I'll look at the walkthrough, see what thing I missed, freaking punch my computer because I missed it, and then move on with my life. Yeah, I could try nuclei, but it's too late. I'm calling it a night. I got to raid the party of one. That's what's up, the Shy Hat. Yeah, let's go ahead and raid someone. Oh, the Shy Hat just raided me, so it must not be the Shy Hat. Sorry, my friend, you raided right when I was going to drop off. I don't know who Mini Weed is. Let me turn my headphones on and see if I can pull these people up on my other screen real quick. Hack the box retired end games. Okay, that looks fun. All right, let's raid this person over on Twitch. Oh, M Taggart? I don't see him on here though. Is Taggart on? All right, sweet. Since you suggested him, we'll do M Taggart. He's always a cool dude to watch. Let me do that real quick. MTTAGGRT. All right, if you guys want to raid, for those of you watching on YouTube and such, come join on Twitch. The raid word or phrase is hack smarter, not harder, as usual. Hack smarter, not harder. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Do appreciate it. I'm gonna stop the recording. All right, recording is stopped. But thank you all for hanging out. We'll go ahead and raid Taggart, and we'll check him out. Hack smarter, not harder. Before I do that though, let me get this pulled up on my actual main monitor real quick. All right, I got it pulled up. Let's give this a shot. We'll raid him and Hack smarter, not harder, ladies and gentlemen, is the raid phrase. Everybody's getting ready to raid. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'm going to sign off with the live stream. I'll see you guys over in the raid. Hack smarter, not harder. Peace.